Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today we have some really big Star news that's really exciting, and there's not really anything too bad about it. So first of all, we have new episode dates confirmed, coming soon. Second of all, we have a new image for Season 4 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. And we also have confirmation that Season 4 is the last season. Now, that's not necessarily good news, but it also means that they will be putting a lot more into this season, because it's the last season, so they want to go off on a good note. Now, we did learn from Daron and Adam MacArthur that we would be learning something sometime this week, possibly. They did initially think that it was going to be earlier in the week, but it ended up changing. But now we have all the news that was planning to be given to us a couple days before. But really, it doesn't really matter too much when this news is released. It matters that it was today, and that's amazing. But first, let's go ahead and talk about this article that's an exclusive on TV Line. Now, I'm not going to read through the entire article, but there are a couple things that I do want to mention. First, it says a Disney Channel princess is preparing to vacate her throne, which is pretty much saying that Star is giving the throne to Eclipsa. And we did already learn that from the Magic Book of Spells, because it did say that she was only queen for 4 days. So that's something that we already knew, but it's just being confirmed again. Also in this article is where it says that it's the 4th and final season, and 2 new episodes will be airing March 10th at 8 AM on Disney Channel and Disney XD. So that's really amazing that Star is coming to Disney Channel, which means more viewership for the program, which also means more merch, more support, just everything in general about Star is going to be getting so much better because they're actually airing it on Disney Channel. So that's amazing to see. Now it also says that subsequent episodes will be airing on Sundays on Disney Channel. Now, I'll go through all the dates and the new episode titles here in a little bit, because I do want to talk about this article first, but just know that we're getting to that. Now, we do kind of have a little mini synopsis. The article says, according to Disney Channel, Star's final season will put her and Marco against unusual surprises brought about by Muni's new ruler, Queen Eclipsa. Some of those surprises revolve around new characters, voiced by Jamie Camel, Tony Hale, Gemma Whalen, Daniel Baker, and Joel Martinez, and Danielle Fisher. So that's super cool. We'll be seeing some new guest stars as well as just new characters in general. So it's always good to see more characters being added to the show, and it's likely that one of these characters will claim the voice of Globgor. Now, there are some more names listed down below, which are kind of like the highlight names, but one thing that's really interesting in here is that Mrs. Diaz is actually listed here. Now, we do know that she is pregnant with Marco Jr., and that means that she could have a bigger role in Season 4. Like, what if she just came to Muni? Because that would be cool, I guess. I don't know. But it is important to note that Marco Jr. and Angie might have a bigger role in Season 4 just because she's listed here. So that's super cool to see. So that's pretty much all the article says. I'll leave the link down in the description if you want to go into more detail. But let's also talk about the image that was included with the article. In this image, we can see Eclipsa, Star, and Marco looking up at what appears to be Globgor. Now, we can't really see what they're looking at, but the room and the crystals to the left and to the right indicate that this is the room where we saw Globgor previously. Now, yesterday I made a video talking about how Globgor will escape, and I'll get into this later when I talk about the episode names, because I do have a couple theories on them. But this is interesting to see that Eclipsa is showing Star and Marco just kind of the situation, and that they will likely be brainstorming or something similar to that to learn how to free him. Now, Eclipsa's smile is just super nice, and Star and Marco do look surprised, and you can see that they are looking up pretty big, so Globgor is likely even bigger than we expected, or maybe not, I don't exactly know, but it does look like they're looking up pretty far, and they do look surprised, so that's also interesting to see. So now let's talk about the dates. Disney XD tweeted out, "We couldn't keep this from you guys any longer. New episodes of #Star vs. the Forces of Evil premiere every weekday starting March 10th on at Disney Channel and at Disney XD. Well, there wasn't an ad for the Disney XD, but it's airing at Disney XD. And they attached this image that is very similar to the images that they have previously provided. And there's some very interesting episodes here. I'm just going to go from top to bottom, but before I do that, let's kind of talk about the formatting here. So we can see that March 10th has 2 new episodes coming out, and March 17th there's 4 names, but it's actually 2 episodes, or 2 20-minute episodes that are going to be airing back to back. Now, if you guys remember, the Roundtable uploaded a video about a week ago talking about how Star Season 4 might be airing in a bomb format and that it was super big and we need to be worrying a bunch. And I made a video the same day talking about how I didn't think that that was true because I don't even think they're finished with Season 4 yet as far as production goes. And this is kind of proving my point a little bit more, because while they are airing 2 episodes at a time every weekend, it's not like they're airing 5 episodes in a day, it's only 2, and they are spacing it out a little bit. So this makes me believe that Season 4 won't actually be in the way that the Roundtable said it would be, and that was a little bit misleading for them to say, but I do understand why they said it and brought it up, because they did want it, because if it did turn out to be a bomb schedule, then that would be bad, and we would have wished that we had brought it up and tried to make like a petition pretty much to say, hey, let's change this. But enough about that, let's talk about March 10th. Butterfly Folies and Escape from the Pie Folk. Now these are 2 20-minute episodes. The episodes aren't broken up into 2 10-minute like sections per one episode. It's just a full 20-minute special, which we don't see fairly often. That means that the episode has enough in it to push it out to 20 minutes versus only having to be 10 minutes. And those episodes usually have more plot because they want to keep the current theme going throughout the single episode. So these episodes are going to be interesting. But before we kind of talk about what I think is going to be in them, let's just list off all of the episodes. And we do know that the March 10th episodes are airing at 8 a.m., which is kind of early in the morning, but we don't really know for March 17th and 24th and 31st. We can assume that those are going to be airing at 8 a.m. as well, but we can't confirm it yet. So we have Sunday, March 10th, Sunday, March 17th, Sunday, March 24th, and Sunday, March 31st. And that's pretty much every single Sunday in March, with the exception of March 3rd. So go ahead and mark your calendars. I'm definitely going to be, because this is super exciting. So on March 17th, we have Moon Remembers and Swimsuit. That's one 20-minute episode, so it's split into 2. And we have Ransom Graham and Lake House Fever. And that's, again, another 20-minute episode. So we have 2 20-minute episodes, which is being broken into essentially 4 separate episodes. And then on March 24th, we have Yada Yada Berries and Down by the River, and The Ponyhead Show, Explanation Point, and Surviving the Spider Bites. And then on March 31st, we have Out of Business and Kelly's World, and then a 20-minute special, Curse of the Blood Moon, which I know everybody's freaking out about. It's like, oh wow, dang, it's actually a curse. There was a video by I think it was Slice of Otaku. I still haven't seen the video. I don't think, if I did, that I don't really remember it too well, but I just never got around to watching that video. I'll try to leave the link down in the description below, because from what I've heard, it's a pretty good video. I'll have to go check that out, but yeah, I would recommend going to check that video out. But now that we've gone through all the lists, let's first go ahead and talk about Butterfly Folies and Escape from the Pie Folk, because we have seen 2 sneak peek clips as well as 1 leaked, or it wasn't leaked, it was a promo from Japan, which did contain some pretty big information in it. So let's go ahead and start out with Butterfly Folies. Now, for those of you who don't know, a Foley is a lack of good sense or foolishness, or a costly ornamental building with no practical purpose, especially a tower or mock Gothic ruin built in a large garden or park. Now you may be thinking, how does this relate to anything? Butterfly, lack of good sense, or butterfly like structure in the park? Now, I first was like, okay, but then I realized that what if this is referring to Globgor? I personally believe that the Season 4 promo that was for Japan is going to be mainly focusing on the 2 March 10th episodes. I personally think that the Season 4 promo from Japan is more focusing on the 2 episodes from March 10th. And in those episodes, we can see Eclipsa and Globgor and things like that. So what if Butterfly Folies is referring to just a butterfly foley? It's a building, pretty much. The foley is referring to Globgor, and the butterfly is just indicating that it's a butterfly foley. So what if that's the episode that we see Star, Marco, and Eclipsa looking at Globgor? I think that makes a lot of sense as far as just the timeline and the new image and just everything. I feel like it's all lining into place. Now that might be not true. Again, that's just an idea. But that's my guess on what's going to be happening in Butterfly Folies. They're going to be brainstorming on how to free Globgor, and just things like that. That's what I think is going to happen in that episode. Now, the second episode on March 10th is Escape from the Pie Folk, which we have seen a lot of promos and things for. We've seen a whole clip about it, and also in the Season 4 promo from Japan, it also talked about it a lot, or didn't really talk about it, just showed a bunch of clips. So spoilers for if you haven't seen the Season 4 promo in Japan, but I think that this is the episode that they're going to be either finding Moon or kind of looking for Moon, especially since it's a 20-minute episode. I think that that's probably what they could do, because from the Season 4 promo, we did see Moon making pies with Star, which just kind of goes with the whole pie episode. So I have a feeling that Moon's going to be found in this episode. And not only that, the next episode title is Moon Remembers, which I have a pretty good idea, I think, of what's going to be happening, or a pretty good guess at least. But that's what I think is going to be happening in the Pie Folk episode. It's just going to be a Moonindependence Day festival or something similar to that. So now on to March 17th, Moon Remembers and Swimsuit. Now, if you guys haven't seen that Globgor video I mentioned earlier in this video, I would recommend going to see it. But if you don't really want to watch the whole thing, the biggest reason on how I think Globgor is going to escape is from a spell that we saw in the Magic Book of Spells that released in the summer a little while ago. In Solaria's chapter, there was a spell called CPS, or Crystal Pulverizing Spell. However, since the Magic Book of Spells is burned, we don't really have remnants of that spell, and it's likely that Eclipsa doesn't remember it because she's been crystallized for so long, and it's unlikely that Star read through Solaria's chapter. So how are they going to uncrystallize Globgor? Well, I have a feeling that Moon Remembers is referring to Moon remembering the spell and how to cast it. And the result of that is going to be Globgor being broken out of his crystal imprisonment. And I think that that's a great way to do it, Moon remembering the spell after she gets back. And it just all makes sense, and if that's true, then that means that we have 3 back-to-back episodes with a lot of plot, and that's super amazing. However, the next episode, or at least the second part to that episode, is Swimsuit. Now, I honestly have no idea what this is referring to. I'm assuming that this is just going to be a filler episode. I don't really think there's going to be too much going on in this episode. But if you ask me, on the right column, Swimsuit, Lake House Fever, and Down by the River, they all sound so similar, and it feels like they're going to be going to like some vacation home. If you just saw those episodes, it'd be like, wow, they're going on a vacation or something, like to a lake house. Down by the River, Swimsuit, Lake House Fever. That definitely seems weird, but I don't think that they're going to spend like 3 episodes talking about going to a lake house. That just doesn't seem practical. I do think that they will be going to a lake house on the episode Lake House Fever, but not likely with Swimsuit. So Swimsuit could refer to them going to either Lava Lake Beach, or maybe they're going back to Earth, which would be amazing to see. Maybe to visit Marco Jr., we don't know. But it's just likely going to have some sort of shipping aspect, which is probably going to be nice. Now, the next episode is Ransom Graham. I really have no idea what this episode could entail. It's just, I'm kind of lost. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think it is. Again, if you have any theories on any of these titles, let me know down in the comment section down below. But Ransom Graham, I have no idea. Now, Lake House Fever, I have a feeling that this is going to have something involving Marco Jr., just because lake houses are stuff that you find on Earth, so I'm assuming that they're going to go back to Earth for this episode, probably to visit Marco Jr. or something like that, and maybe they're going to a lake house, and I think that that would be super cool. Next on March 24th is Yada Yada Berries. Now, I don't really know what this one is either. Yada Yada sounds like something on Muni, so maybe it's a quest from Queen Eclipsa to go get these Yada Yada berries. Again, I have no idea, but that's just the best thing I could think of. Other than that, maybe it's just something involving Marco Jr. and maybe he likes Yada Yada berries. I don't know. But the next one is Down by the River. Now, this one could mean 2 things. First, it's down by an actual river. And second, it has something to do with the character River. Because, I don't know, it seems like a pun like that would be something that they would do. I don't know, it's probably the first option as far as it being an actual river, but it would be funny to see if it was like them going by river something. I don't know. It's something to ponder at, but I don't exactly know anything further than that, other than it's going probably to be down by some sort of river. Now the next one I have a feeling is going to be not very exciting because it's called the Ponyhead Show, and we know that a lot of people dislike Ponyhead. Now one important thing to note here is that there's an explanation point at the end, and if you guys remember from when we learned about the season 3 episodes, there was Bam You Patty, which had an explanation point at the end, and that episode was also a Ponyhead episode that was just pretty much complete filler. And that right there doesn't really point a lot of signs to it being a super interesting episode, but who knows, maybe they'll be kind of like fun and just throw something good in there. I don't know. That episode is likely going to have Ponyhead in some sort of show or of some kind. I don't know, but it will have Ponyhead in it. And then the second part of that episode is surviving the spider bites, which could actually be an interesting episode because, one, it could be a flashback from Eclipsa, because in the Magic Book of Spells we learned that her like wedded husband was a spider bite prince, or king now I guess. It was King Shastakan. So it could be a flashback from Eclipsa, or it could be Eclipsa sending Star and Marco on a quest, or something like that. But it will be having something to do with spider bites and probably the territory. So it will likely be Star and Marco going out to this new area that we haven't really seen before, which could be interesting to see because it's a new area, new places to see, and that's always fun. Now before we move on to March 31st, I did think of something as far as the swimsuit, Lake House Fever, and Down by the River. What if they had swimsuit, Ransom Graham, Lake House Fever, Yada Yada Berries, and Down by the River, all focusing on some sort of underwater aspect? Because if you guys remember back a while ago, the season 4 poster that we got was underwater. So what if they're doing something here as far as it being an aquatic theme? Not only that, what if the halfway mark is a cut between the characters? Moon Remembers has no mention of Star and Marco, same with Ransom Graham and Yada Yada Berries, and Swimsuit, Lake House Fever, and Down by the River is only about Star, Marco, Ponyhead, and Tom going down into this aquatic area. Now that would be super interesting, and we did see a similar theme in a couple episodes in season 3. But that would really be interesting, and if that was true, that would just make this more plot-oriented because they're focusing on one area of the story, which when shows usually do that, it means that it's not usually filler. Some of it is filler, but a lot of it has a meaning if they're spending so long in a certain place. So that's just interesting on its own. Alright, so enough with that idea. Let's move on to March 31st's episodes. So the first one is Out of Business. Now, I'm just trying to think of certain businesses. There's Marco's Princess Turdina's business, which I don't exactly think that that's really what it's going to be referring to. It could be something to do with Globgor and Eclipsa. It could be something to do with something entirely different that we don't know about. But for this, we don't really know too much. Or maybe it's just a filler Earth episode where it's Sensei, where he's out of business and he had to shut down the dojo. And maybe it's just, a filler Earth episode. I'm not sure. And then the next, or at least the second half of that episode is Kelly's World, which is likely going to be involving Kelly, hence the name Kelly's World. And the first thing that came to my mind is that this is going to be people going into Kelly's hair and just kind of going there. I don't exactly know. That was just the first thought that popped into my head. It could also be where Kelly lives. But I do think that there will be a decent amount of, shipping drama or something similar to that, because as we know, Kelly and Marco is a big ship, and just, I don't know, that's just an idea that I had. So Kelly's World is probably not going to be a really big plot-filled episode, but it will likely be an interesting either shipping episode, or I always enjoyed the episodes with Kelly, so it might just be a good filler episode. And then the big one that everybody's talking about is Curse of the Blood Moon. Now there have been tons of theories on why the Blood Moon is a curse. Again, I haven't really looked into them too deeply, but this is kind of confirming that the Blood Moon is a curse. But one of the first things that I thought of is, what if this is a repercussion of Star and Marco not being together? Because it's a blood moon, and if the two people aren't together, then they are kind of cursed. I don't know. That's an interesting thing that I thought about. But the likely thing in this episode is that it's going to be Starco oriented. I'm sorry for you Star Tom fans and things like that. Again, I'm trying to stay kind of neutral on this, but Starco is likely going to be either happening in this episode, or they're going to start realizing that it should be happening. I don't exactly know. But since curse is a more negative word, I do have a feeling that it is something about Star and Marco that's going to be bad. Either they learn something that is really dramatic, or maybe they just end up getting together. But I do think the first idea about them not being together and it just kind of being a repercussion is definitely interesting. However, I have had the idea that since Tom knows that Star and Marco kissed in season 3, their relationship probably isn't going to be lasting for very much longer. Now, I don't know the timeline of these episodes, but 8 episodes into the season is a long time for Star and Tom to still be together. Maybe it's just like one day after another, and maybe that's, 8 days isn't a super long time. But I do have a feeling that something big is going to be happening in the Curse of the Blood Moon, and it is a 20-minute long episode of just focusing on the Curse of the Blood Moon. So that's going to be interesting to see, and I'm really excited for that episode. But that's really it for these episodes. If I get more ideas, or if we theorize, or if more information comes out about these episodes or future episodes, just any news in general, or any new ideas that I get, I will be sure to update you guys and make a new video and things like that. If you guys want to come talk about these episodes, we have a Discord that's public. You can come join. The link's down in the description below. You can come join it and talk with people about these new episodes. That's super exciting. But that's going to be it for me. If you guys did enjoy this video, you can leave a like and subscribe for more videos similar to this. Again, if you want to stay updated on all of the Star news, I try to make a video as soon as possible as far as when new news is learned. And I do make videos on little bits of news, not simple little tweets of like Adam saying, hey, there might be new news tomorrow, but of the actual news itself. And if we get a small little image of season 4, I will be sure to make a video on it, as some creators wouldn't. So yeah, if you're interested in like just every little bit of season 4 that we learn, then go ahead and subscribe, because this is probably the best place you're going to get it. So that's going to be it for me, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
Another thing I gotta deal with.